welcome to this FPL Gameweek 38 team selection video with me, Holly Shand, where I've got 2 free transfers going into the final game of the season. Help me get this one to 500 likes and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. Starting off with how my game week 37 went then, and it was one of my best game weeks of the season. I was on triple captain over bench boost, and I managed to hold ground against those around me that were bench boosting. Finished on 134 points, a 15-pointer triple to 45 points from Erling Haaland is actually my best ever return from the triple captainship in 9 seasons. So that was very much welcome. There was a couple of players that blanked in my 11, Vicario and Son. It was a disappointing double all round for Spurs. Branthwaite, my only single game week player, popped up with a clean sheet. Gusto, probably the star of the end of the game week, finally getting a star, an assist and a clean sheet, followed by an early substitution before the Chelsea clean sheet wipeout. So that really helped. Palmer was another one to deliver, and it was nice that I did actually triple captain the highest scoring player in my 11 for the game week. Elsewhere, very good returns from Foden and De Bruyne, Gordon and Jackson, but I have picked up a couple of issues along the way, and I did have points on my bench, unfortunately, from Solanke and Gabriel. Transfer plans then, and I've got 2 free transfers, 0.2 million in the bank. I'm probably in a better situation than a lot of managers, but I just want to start by saying don't make your transfers too early, because we look at Sunday, we've got 10 games kicking off simultaneously. We will have team leaks. There will be surprises in the team news as well. And a lot of us have got players that are currently flagged with injury that won't help. So patience is really everything here. I'm kind of fluid with my transfer plans at the moment. I think it's important to have a think about the players that you'd like to own for this game week and those that you'd be prepared to sell, and kind of come up with the best plan for that scenario as the team news drops. The 2 issues I've got are in midfield with Kevin De Bruyne and Anthony Gordon. Both picked up a knock in their midweek game week 37 double game week fixture. De Bruyne was substituted early, whereas Gordon did manage to play 90. So automatically De Bruyne is the one that I'm most concerned about. Obviously, if there's any leaks that he starts, he'll automatically be staying in my team because I'm tripled up on City for the final day, and they and Arsenal have the most to play for, and it's really the Arsenal contingent in my squad that I want to boost. I've only got Gabriel at the moment. So one transfer that I'm pretty set on is Havertz coming into my midfield, either at the expense of De Bruyne or Gordon. I think if De Bruyne starts, it will probably be Gordon that makes way. I would be a little bit off, so I'd probably have to take Solanke out, who I've planned to bench this week, and bring in Mateta to afford it. If both of these players, Gordon and De Bruyne, both look like they're going to miss out, then I could potentially go and buy 2 Arsenal midfielders to replace them. I guess Saka would be the other automatic buy. The thing I like about Havertz is his form, and he's a differential. Saka a little bit of a fitness doubt right now, but if we get confirmed news that Saka starts, I could potentially buy both of them. And there's also Trossard to consider as well, who's been in great form in recent games. He's a mainstay of the Arsenal 11 now, and you know, City and Arsenal fighting for the title on the final day, it would feel good to back that Arsenal attack that, you know, need to get goals and need to win in order to have any hope of clinching the title. Now, if I only make one attacking transfer, I am open to making a defensive transfer as well, because looking at my 11 that I'd probably start for game week 38, the weakness is in the Spurs defence that I remain invested in. Vicario has been a bit of a disaster buy. Pedro Porro, they've got the fixture Sheffield United away, probably the best fixture you can get, but how much have they got to play for, Spurs, now? I don't feel like I can trust them for clean sheets. I think there's perhaps better options elsewhere. And if I sell De Bruyne, that would take me down to 2 City players. That would open up a spot for Vardiol in the defence. It may not be Porro that makes way if I was to make that move. It could be Branthwaite, and then Porro could be my first sub. And, you know, if I decided to stick with Porro and not go with Vardiol, I could potentially go with a goalkeeper move, David Raya, most clean sheets of any goalkeeper this season, going for the Golden Glove. He's another option to consider. But yeah, making sure that I've got 3 City and 3 Arsenal starting in game week 38 is the top priority. And these are the moves that I'm bearing in mind to get to that point. But I won't be making these moves until probably after 2 o'clock on Sunday, when we've got some team leagues coming in, and I can make a more informed decision on the availability of the injured players I've got and whether the players I'm looking to bring in start. So make sure you've created that short list of players that you're interested in buying, so that you don't panic and make some crazy move in a bit of a struggle in the final few minutes before this final deadline of the season. Team selection time then, and with a strong squad, I seem to have dilemmas all over. Hopefully the team leaks will shake it out so that it's a lot easier to decide who to start, who to bench. If I'm planning on moving Porro on, then I probably would start Vicario away at Sheffield United over Kaminsky at home to Fulham. There's not a lot in it, if I'm honest. It is a bit of a roll of the dice into the defence, and it'd be exciting to own Vardiol if I do lose De Bruyne because of injury in the midfield. And then I've got Gabriel at home to Everton, which is a great fixture. And I've also got Gusto at home to Bournemouth. He's been a bit of a surprise kind of utility for me in the final few game weeks of the season, having held him through injury. And I think with the Reece James red card, he's probably nailed to start in game week 38 now, which is great to see. Hopefully another early substitution can work to my advantage and he can get yet another assist. That means Porro is the first defensive sub on my bench. I've also got Reguilon with a decent fixture at home to Newcastle. So there's depth on the bench if needed. You never know in game week 38 what's going to happen. A bit of a dilemma on formation, but I think I'm probably going to stick with the 3-5-2. So we've got Palmer, Son and Foden who retain their places. It looks like it will be Havertz coming into the midfield then for Everton at home, with the Gunners trying to clinch the title over Manchester City. And I am leaning towards keeping the 3-5-2 and playing Anthony Gordon against going with the 3-4-3 and playing Dominic Solanke away at Chelsea. That gives me a forward line of Haaland at home to West Ham, Jackson at home to Bournemouth, with Solanke dropping to the bench. When it comes to captaincy then, I have got a decision to make. The 2 names in the frame for me are Haaland and Havertz, purely because I feel like I need to back a player from a team that's got the most to play for. Now, Haaland would be the safe captain pick, but I would really like a boost in my overall rank on the final day of the season. So Havertz has to be a consideration as well. What I need to think about is, if De Bruyne is in the City 11, that does make that City 11 stronger, which means that Haaland is a better pick. I also need to think, if Saka does miss out for Arsenal, does that make Havertz a worse pick or a better pick? Does it elevate him in the rankings for penalties? I'm not sure, with this title at stake, whether Havertz would get the spot kicks anyway. So I am leaning towards going with Haaland for the captain, but I am keeping an open mind because I am pushing for that overall rank. This is my final long form video of the season. Thank you so much for the amazing support on the channel. It's been an absolute pleasure to record these videos for you every week. I will be answering your dilemmas ahead of FPL Gameweek 38 within the first few hours of this video going live, so do put those down below, and I'll be back on Friday for the final press conference stream of the season. That's coming at 12:30 UK time, so we get that crucial update from Pep on the availability of De Bruyne. We'll also be hearing from Arteta on Saka as well, so a really big one to cover. So make sure you've liked this video, you subscribe to the channel and hit that notify button so that you don't miss it. Thank you.